Hi, I'm Jana Riley, and this is Ageless. I'm 40, and my life is just getting started. I'm here to share real talk and real experiences about how to live life ageless. Nothing's off the table. You know the vibes. Let's go. Welcome back to Ageless, and today I hope to leave it all out on the dance floor. We're going to talk about ego and spirit, and what I want to start with is a quote that I absolutely love, and I don't know who it's from, but I just love it. So many people from your past know a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. And amen to that. We have a right to grow. What I know is that when we heal the right wounds, we unfuck ourselves. We unfuck ourselves. We all have character defects in our thinking and in our behaviors, but we wouldn't be human if we didn't. I don't think that defects of character make us bad. It's just where we've been wounded. But we are responsible for those character defects. And the ego loves to play victim to those wounds, loves it. And when we are led and directed by our egos, we will only feel a separateness, we'll feel desperation, we'll always be trying to look for something. And once we find it, we'll sabotage it. The ego brings nothing but fear, but the spirit brings love, and only love. Love is the only thing the spirit understands. It's the only language. And we can always surrender the fearful ego-based thinking that only brings dysfunction, and we can change our minds, and we can shift our perceptions from fear to love. And that, my friends, is a miracle. We can return to our essential self, who we were created to be. And I believe in something greater than human power. This is not a religious podcast, but I do believe that there's something greater than human power that has created the universe. All I have to do is go out and look at the moon and know that there's absolutely no way a human being threw that rock up into the sky and calls it the moon. I can go to the ocean and watch the currents and the waves and know that there is just something majestic that has created the ocean. There's no way any human being could ever created that. And the fact that the moon controls ocean currents, we can go scientific, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. Like, my mind doesn't comprehend how could it possibly could have been created. So I know there's something greater than human power out there. I call it my higher power or creator. And that is who I release my character defects to. And when I do that, I'm free of who I used to be. We can pave a new path. You know, the ego loves to dig up the past. The ego wants to fester in whatever has happened to us. The ego loves to play victim. The ego wants nothing but fear. And that's all it is. The ego is just fear of something that we've done in our past. But that's what I love about being able to change our perception, because we're human beings. We make mistakes. It's going to happen. But the choice is to take responsibility for those mistakes and ask for forgiveness, or to stay in the pain, to have a resentment, to go into that victim consciousness where all we have is fear. That's it. It's the driving force of our ego. So we can change our thoughts in any moment by asking for a miracle. And like I said earlier, we all have character defects. We all do. We are imperfect human beings, but that is not who we are. We are not our character defects. I don't care what anybody says. It comes from fear. It comes from the ego, and it can be rectified. We can be washed clean. We just have to ask for it. It's that easy. Just ask for a change in perception. Ask for a miracle of our thinking and our behaviors. I'm a big Marianne Williamson fan, and she says, self-perception determines our behavior. So I'll paraphrase. If we see ourselves as limited or small, we will behave that way. It's an energy that we radiate, and it reflects those thoughts that we have about ourselves. So if we think we're brilliant, if we think we're abundant, if we think we're full of love, full of power, we tend to behave that way. So our energy reflects our state of awareness. So we can relinquish our fears that block that love, that power inside of us by asking our higher power, our creator, God, whatever you call yours. And you can ask for a change in perception. So a change from fear to love, a change from those egoic thoughts to spiritual love. That is what a miracle is. We can deviate from our ego and be changed in this moment and return to our essential self, our spirit, who we were created to be. We weren't created to live in fear. We weren't created to be bound by our character defects and stay there and live in them and feel regret and remorse and to stay there. Yes, we can feel remorse, but it is a choice to reach for another thought, to have another shot, to redefine our lives. And it's so simple, and I feel like we make it so complex. I know I do. When I make a mistake, I feel like genuine remorse for it, but I don't stay there. I make it right. So we are allowed to make mistakes. We are allowed to have character defects, and it doesn't make us bad. We have wounds. We're human beings. Pain is what we feel sometimes, but pain is not the answer. Pain is not a place to stay. And the ego would love nothing more than you to stay in the pain and not reach for a better feeling thought. We weren't born to feel separate or despair. We weren't born or put on this earth to sabotage ourselves. We were put on this earth to love. And when that is the language of the spirit, that is just the most beautiful thing. And it's so effortless to just live in love. Live in love for yourself and live in love for our brothers and sisters and for this world. So no matter what is happening in your life, no matter what, just know the spirit only knows the language of love. It only knows love. And we can always go back to our essential state of being, which is love. And when we're living within our spirit, we are ageless. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ageless. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Tune in next week for a new episode.